All right, everybody, excited to be back with you today to talk about prompt engineering. We're going to cover some of the basics and then some of the things that I've just really found helpful over my journey with AI. I was looking at a lot of the prompt engineering resources out there, and none of them, while they were accurate, they didn't seem to be all that helpful. So I just want to share some of the things that have been helpful to me in the past few months as I've been spending time with ChatGPT and others. I want to mention I've got all of this in a cheat sheet in my Patreon. All of the prompts are here that you can just copy and paste. For just a few bucks, you can have access to this and dozens of other cheat sheets that are all geared towards helping you adopt AI into your small business or whatever projects you're working on. Today, we're going to be covering prompt engineering, improving your AI communication skills and the way that you interact with these systems. We're going to enhance your problem solving ability. We're going to look at ways that you can really increase your productivity. There's some helpful tools I want to share with you there. We're going to look at how you broaden your understanding of what's going on behind the scenes with the AI, strategies you can manage your AI responses better, and ways you can get into more nuanced discussions with ChatGPT and other AIs so you can use these tools more effectively. So starting off just with the basics, you may know this already, but just the more clear and specific you can be. Oftentimes you maybe want to go through multiple iterations of a prompt. I have an example here of a non-specific prompt. How do I start an e-commerce store? That's going to give you a very general response versus we are a boutique fashion store looking to start an online outlet. Can you guide us through the process of transitioning from a physical store to an e-commerce platform, highlighting the potential challenges we might face? So a lot of what we're going to talk about today is how to get more information into ChatGPT, into these different AI systems so that they can provide more better results for you, more helpful, less generic results. Another thing I've found to be very helpful is repeating yourself. So if you're getting an outcome that you're just not happy with, if it's just missing something, try to put that in the prompt multiple times. So here's an example. Please list 10 great ideas for testing and refining my sales material. Please focus your ideas specifically on helping me test and refine my sales material. So this is used, if you're creating a list and maybe it starts going off the rails and starts talking about how under customer research and things that aren't related to your testing your sales material, you want to say that twice so it focuses in and really stays on topic. The next one here is just giving the model an out. So if it doesn't know something, telling it it's okay to say it doesn't know. This will reduce hallucinations and improve your accuracy. So you might want to add something like this to your prompts. If you're unsure or cannot find relevant information, please respond with, I don't know. You might want to add something like, if it's a different type of prompt, you might want to add, it's okay to say not found, or I couldn't find more resources. So just adding that into the prompt, letting it know it's okay that it can, it doesn't need to make stuff up if it can't find information. This can be very helpful. Giving it a role and a goal. This is kind of a basic way to think about getting the most out of it. So we're going to get into this a little bit deeper with the system message and the context window here in a second, but this is a basic way where you're tapping into some of the more nuanced skills that these AI systems can bring. So this is one example here. Giving it this prompt. You are a potential customer and your goal is to bring up common sales objections so that I can practice my negotiation skills. So your role is potential customer and your goal is to bring up common sales objections. So you can think of different ways that you can use this and give it its understanding. Obviously, if you give it more information about your company and what common objections you are encountering, that can be more helpful. We'll get into that type of stuff here in a second. So again, basic use cases. These are some things to just experiment with. If you're new to all of this, generating lists, outlining step-by-step processes, drafting email replies, or creating the first draft of a piece of writing. These are just some things you might want to try if you're new to this. Now let's get into just some things a little bit beyond the basics. So I think one of the biggest mistakes or missteps that people take is not realizing how much information that these tools can actually store in their memory, and loading that up with as much information about you, your business, your customers, your competitors. That is the way to get the most out of these, to get them less general responses, more accurate and helpful responses. So how do we do that? Obviously it'd be great if you had like a summary of your business, of your customers, of your competitors. But there's a quick way to kind of get that, is to start with a prompt like this. I would like to accomplish X, whatever it might be. What are the most important things you need to know in order to help me with this? Ask me a few questions related to achieving this goal. So in this way, it's going to give you sort of a form to fill out about all the information it needs to help you with whatever you're trying to do. And then once you put that information in, you can ask it, hey, would you please summarize this for me? You can store that summary somewhere in a Google file, or a Google Sheet, or a Google Doc. And then you can have that anytime you want to load that up again. Maybe this is information about your customers or whatever it is. You have that now, and you can keep building upon that, making that more and more accurate, and using that in future prompts when you are working with the large language model. So you can put in many thousands of words into this context window. I don't want to get into the details of exactly how much, because that's changing all the time. But I think when folks are just putting a couple sentences into their prompt and they're getting the general responses, try adding a summary of whatever your information, whatever's most appropriate that it needs to know, included in your prompt, and you can just get a ton more out of these. So moving on from the context window into the system message. The system message is basically you're telling the LLM what role it is playing. So similar to what we just spoke about, the role and goal, giving it a description of like how it should respond. And you've probably seen people talk about, well, make it a poem that's like Shakespeare. You're using the system message of Shakespeare, or answer as a helpful chatbot. You're programming the system message to be the helpful chatbot. Well, those are great, but not as helpful as some of the things you can do using this system message. This is one that I'm using all the time that I got from David Shapiro, who's got a great YouTube channel. He's a mentor of mine. And this prompt style mimics the speech pattern of Morden Solis, who is a character known for brevity and succinctness. It's from a video game. And by instructing the AI to emulate this style, you can get concise, straightforward answers. So here's the prompt. I would like you to communicate using the speech pattern like Morden Solis, maximize for word economy, very succinct, no superfluous language. And this can really help speed things up when it replies like this. It replies not in a long blog post that you need to read, but just these bullet points, boom, 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 thoughts that you can get through very quickly. That's a very short response, which would then actually optimize it. You have more room in your context window. There's the system can store more information when it's this succinct and compact. Very, very useful system message. Here's another one that is called the God prompt. So this is programming that system message to be a prompt creator. So this can be very helpful if you're fine-tuning a prompt that you want to use over and over again. You might want to try this one. I got this from Brett Littlefield. I want you to become my prompt creator. Your goal is to help me craft the best possible prompt for my needs. The prompt will be used by you, ChatGPT. You will follow the following process. 1, your first response will be to ask me what the prompt should be about. I'll provide my answer, but we will need to improve it through continual iterations by going through the next steps. And I'm not going to read all of this. You can take a screenshot of this. And again, I should mention that I have all of this in my Patreon. There is a cheat sheet version of all of this with all of these prompts that you can just copy and paste and add these to your library. That's all available with a bunch of other stuff just for a couple bucks in there. Anyway, this can help you really fine tune your prompts in using ChatGPT to give you suggestions on how they can be improved over time. So that one is a system message I've gotten a lot of use out of. Building out your personal library. So like I mentioned, you're going to be using the same prompts over and over again. Once you find something that's helpful for whatever it is, social media or even building code, you want to store those somewhere. And oftentimes people are probably using, Google Sheets or Notes, something like that. I would highly consider checking out a tool called ChatGPT Prompt Genius. This is a Chrome extension that will show up right inside of ChatGPT and will allow you to very quickly find those prompts that you use over and over again. If you're using other AI tools, like if you're using Midjourney or something like that, I've had a lot of luck using Text Expander to store my prompts that I use over and over in there. And this is something that took me a little while to spend the time to adjust to this, but it's well worth it. Give yourself in 10 minutes, you could set these up and you're going to be saving that time probably that day if you use these systems consistently. So think about that. Building up your personal library and then sharing that with your team, sharing those with the folks you work with to increase your team productivity. Troubleshooting, if the AI is not generating what you want, you might want to break down your query into smaller steps and ask the model to solve each step separately. So you can make those separate prompts that you work through, or you can put that all in one prompt where you say, I want you to do this. The first step is this, the second step is this, and then the final step is this, which might help it to get through a more complex task rather than just giving it, kind of that complex output that you're looking for. Giving it the steps can be very helpful, especially if you're doing text to code. Like in some of my other videos, I talk about how to build code with ChatGPT. And this is very, very helpful there. Similarly, or kind of the reverse, is if you're getting a response that doesn't seem accurate, you can ask it, hey, outline the steps you took to arrive at this answer. And in that way, you can kind of understand what, where the problem might be. If it maybe did these steps out of order or something like that. This can be really helpful. I've found if there's anything involving math or very, unique logic situations, it can be helpful to ask it to show you its thought process. And then you can, work with it to tweak that to get a better response. So that's what I have for you today. I really hope you got at least something valuable out of this video. Again, I have this and all of my videos documented in these really easy to use copy and paste cheat sheets. That's in my Patreon. Just a few bucks, you get access to dozens of those. There are some Google collabs in there that can be helpful with creating code using ChatGPT. There is some one-on-one coaching and consulting. If you want to chat with me about anything, I'd love to hear what you're up to and see if I can help. Thanks a ton for watching. Please feel free to like, subscribe, comment. It really helps as I'm trying to get this channel off the ground. And I will see you in the next video.